here's the thing. I'm a Snapchatter. If I can't control the angles or filter my face, then I feel very awkward. So if this is too awkward for you to watch, I won't be mad if you want to click out of it and just delete me from your life. I mean, that's fine. But I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm simply here to tell you my story about what's been going on. You can probably tell by the title what I'm going to be talking about. You might not know what it means, but I'm here to explain that to you. So I figured that because of the amount of women that actually reached out to me about it through Snapchat, feel free to follow your girl on Snapchat, asking what my symptoms were, how did I get to where I was, etc, etc, that I should bring it to light for other women out there, because I know I'm not the only one. I know these women aren't the only people struggling and going through this, and it is such a hard thing to go through because it is a process. For me especially, it was going to and from doctors, the hospital, and I felt like I was being seen as the boy who cried wolf, and it was just hard. No one was really believing my story, so it was just a mess. So I'm basically here just to tell you what I went through, the process, how I didn't give up on myself basically, and that's enough explaining. We'll get into the story. So what had happened was I had this pain in my right ovary, or like the side that my right ovary is on, and I kind of thought, okay, it's my mid-cycle pain, it's normal, it's whatever, it'll go away within a day or two. And then the next night, my partner and I went to a party, went to a friend's 21st, and we had intercourse that night. There might be a lot of gruesome things here I'm going to tell you, but it is what it is. We had intercourse that night, and just the whole inside of my vagina was literally burning. I cannot explain the pain. I would say it's like giving birth. I don't know what that feels like. But it honestly felt like it was on fire. It was so bad. So we stopped because it was too painful for me to bear. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. We'd come back from town, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was really tired anyway. So I went to sleep. Woke up the next morning and it was still there, but it was bearable, and that ovary pain was still there. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe this is just lasting a bit longer than normal. So I just left it another couple days, and the ovary pain still didn't go away. So I went to the doctor's. She prescribed me with pain medication. I got swab tests done, urine tests done. Yeah, that was it for now. Everything came back fine. She wanted me to come back the following day just to check up to see if anything had changed, if I was okay still, and I wasn't. So I was seeing a different doctor the second day, and so he started feeling around on my tummy, and because it was my right side, he thought I might have had appendicitis. So he told me that I need to go straight to the hospital to get my blood tests done, as they will get faster results and they can tell me then and there if I've got appendicitis or not. So I freaked the hell out. I freaked the hell out because I was like, oh my god, I don't want surgery. Like, I just freaked out. So I went to ED and my bloods came back fine. I had to do another urine sample. Basically for a good like 2 to 3 weeks I was just thrown back and forth from the doctors to ED, and they just kept telling me the same thing, kept running the same tests on me, and it was just such a pain in the ass. Pain in the ovaries. During that time as well, I'd gotten an ultrasound. Everything came back fine. So because all of my tests had come back negative and showing no signs of anything, the doctors had referred me to the gynecology ward at the hospital to see a gynecologist. They don't actually have any gynecologists there, but they referred me there anyway, and I was waiting about 7 hours until I was seen. The lady that I saw had told me that she apologized to me and she said, I'm sorry, but you've actually wasted your time. There is no actual gynecologists here, because if there were, women with, you know, reproductive problems would always come here and just not pay anything, as opposed to going private and, you know, paying whatever amount it is. It is quite expensive to go private. So she said I need to get a referral to see a specialist. There was a lot of running back and forth, and the doctors weren't listening to me. They weren't giving me the referral I needed. So I rang up mum very upset, and she ended up sorting it out, and then I got my referral to a specialist. I don't want to say where I went and who I'd seen, because I don't know if that's like a breach of privacy or something. Like I could get in trouble for stating that kind of stuff. I don't know. So I got to choose where I wanted to go and who I wanted to see, and I had no knowledge of anything or anyone. So I did end up choosing through reviews that I had heard about. My specialist is a male, and I was kind of fine with that because I just wanted to get fixed straight away. Honestly, I was sick of being thrown around. So during the consultation, he spoke to me about the possibilities of what it could be, ways to manage all of these things, etc, etc. Endometriosis was very up there. He said, I'm not going to run any more tests on you, but just from what you've told me, from all your results and your pain, I think you've got endometriosis. So what endometriosis is, for those of you that don't know, is when the tissue that lines your uterus grows outside of your uterus in patches. It can get to sort of your lower abdomen and down from there, and like your whole pelvic region. It's not a fun time. Then he spoke to me about ways to prevent endometriosis. One way to get rid of it was to have kids, and then I was like, nah. Like, he laughed and he joked about it because he knew I didn't want kids right now. Otherwise, there was sort of things like the jab, the pill, whatever, just pretty much just going back onto contraception, but different types. The one that has the lowest chance of me getting it back is a Mirena, which is also known as an IUD, I think that's what they call it over in the States. So a Mirena is it's like a plastic tear. I think there's a copper and a plastic. Sorry, I'm not professional. I didn't actually do my research on this because I didn't want to freak myself out. But there's like a plastic tear, and it goes all the way up, is inserted all the way into your uterus. And what it essentially does, from my knowledge, what it does is it is a type of contraception, so it stops you from getting pregnant. But for what it would be used for me is it thins the lining of your uterus, which is, or like the tissue, which is the stuff that grows outside, which is endometriosis. When you told me that, you know, it could be endo and you'll have to get a Mirena, well, I don't have to, but it would be the best option, as it will lower my chances by like 90% or something for getting endometriosis back in the future. I got really upset because contraception with me in the past, like the pill, it just never worked for me, and I hated the way it made me feel. So I was like, oh God, I'm gonna be miserable because of endometriosis. But so far so good. It's not bad. At the time I was everywhere. My emotions were everywhere. So regardless of what it was, the only way that they could find out, or the only way that he could find out what was going on, was through a laparoscopy. So what a laparoscopy is, a lot of the older generation know it as a keyhole surgery. They make 2 incisions basically just below the belly button, and then about, I don't know, like a pinky length below. They make 2 incisions, and they put cameras all the way nice past your bowels and everything, and they just have a look to see if they can find anything. If they find anything, they make 2 more incisions, sort of just above your ovaries and between the 2 incisions from the belly button and below that. They make 2 incisions and they remove whatever the hell is in there. And that's exactly what I had done. So then my specialist discussed with me different things that we could do if there was no endo, if there were no cysts in there, different ways that we could work around this, like diet, exercise, everything. He was aware that I was fit and healthy, but could have been minor things like cutting dairy out or sugar or whatever it is, I don't know. So we talked for about an hour, and then he booked me in for a laparoscopy about 3 weeks later, on the 11th of October, so 2 weeks ago today. And then he prescribed me with amitriptyline, which I actually think is an antidepressant. I'm not using it for that reason. So yeah, leading up to surgery, my emotions were freaking crazy. The thing that scared me the most was because they gave me a booklet of everything to expect during surgery, anesthetics, pros and cons, ifs, buts and maybes basically. There was an anesthesia book, and it just spoke about what it is, what it can do, what it might do, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then it had a chart of all the things that have happened to people that have had anesthetics, and like where they sit in a sense of likely to happen, not likely, not ever going to happen, and then sort of like the high possibilities and low possibilities of it happening. And somewhere it said like 1 in every 100,000 people subconsciously wake up during surgery. And then I was like freaking out. I was like, that's going to be me. I know that's going to be me. I'm going to wake up during surgery. If my life just... I was putting so much in my head. But I had reached out to a lot of people and asked that have had surgery what it was like, and it sort of calmed me down. But yeah, I was very, very mood swingy, worse than I think I've ever had in my life. About a week before my surgery, I did get calls from the nurses from the hospital and my anesthetist. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did go private. I could have gone public and not paid anything, but the wait could have been forever, and I didn't want to risk that. So I did go private, and the nurses and my anesthetist, gave me a call. They gave me constant calls about a week leading up to my surgery, just telling me sort of what to expect, the process, what's going to happen basically from the second I arrive to the minute that I leave. They were lovely. I did have a booklet of it all explaining it, and I had a checklist of everything I had to do, but they explained it to me again, and you know, they were just doing their job, and they did an amazing job at that. I did have to empty my bowels. In my booklet it said 1 day before, but the nurses had told me 3 days before, so I had to eat prunes and kiwi fruit, and it just, I like my kiwi fruit, I like golden kiwi fruit, but the prunes I just couldn't. Blech. The prunes were just disgusting. Anyway, besides the point, moving on to the day of surgery. Emotion wise, I was actually quite okay. I was actually more excited than anything. Even the day before, I was getting quite excited because I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to feel any more pain, I'm going to be back on my A game pretty much, and I'm going to be fixed finally. The only thing that was really bothering me was I had a sore throat for about 5 days, and it was just, my glands were completely swollen. I was like, God, I better not get a cold, I better not start coughing and snotting and everything. So my main concern was my sore throat. I wasn't going to stuff up my surgery or anything, so that was fine. When I got into my room, my morning nurse explained to me what was going to happen. She gave me a patient's gown and some really sexy nurse socks. Oh my god, I've got them here. Some of these bad boys. Gross. The socks are pretty much just to prevent me from getting blood clots. I also had these really nice massage things attached to the end of my bed that got wrapped around my legs when I was in bed, and they like massaged my leg. Oh my god, it was so nice. Anyway, this is exactly why I need a list of what I need to talk about, because I could just end up talking about the price of fish and won't even realize. So my surgery was at about, I think 11 AM. It was originally 2 PM, but someone had cancelled, and I, for some reason, was on that cancellation list, so I was moved back, which I was totally fine with because I wanted to just get it over and done with. Yeah, so about 11 o'clock I was wheeled out to theatre, and I actually had to walk onto my operating table myself. I don't know if that's normal or not, but it freaked me the hell out. I will tell you that right now, because I saw everything around me. I saw everything that they were going to use. Oh, I didn't actually see the tools they were going to use, but I heard them and I was like, oh my god, oh my god. I was still quite calm. I was like, okay, no, it's fine. So I got on the operating table and I lay down, and the nurses and the anaesthetist they were all talking to me, you know, as they do, trying to keep you distracted and whatever, keep you calm. As I was talking, I started choking up, I started crying. I honestly couldn't help it, but I was getting really upset. I wasn't like, you know, like I wasn't like snotting, like drastically crying, but I was choking up and I was crying tears. They're really chill about it. One of the nurses, you know, came and wiped my tears, and then she just kept talking to me, just trying to keep me busy. Then the anaesthetist came up and he put in the needle, or like a tube, whatever, in my arm for the anesthetics. Put that in, and then they kept raising the bed up and down. He kept saying, oh, can you raise the bed up? Oh, can you raise it down? And then I was like, oh my god, you better not stuff anything up. And then I was out to it, and that was the last thing that I remembered. So during the surgery, they found, as I said before, stage 3 endometriosis, which is second to being the worst, which is stage 4. I don't know if that makes sense. But I was fortunate in the sense that it wasn't actually attached to anything like my ovaries. When endometriosis attaches itself to your ovaries, that's when you can't have kids. So, oh, I'm gonna start crying. That was such... I was so relieved that it wasn't actually attached to my ovaries, that I can still have kids, because that was also my other main concern, was that I'm not going to be able to have kids, and that is what was definitely causing a lot of my anxiety. Aside from me thinking I'm going to wake up during surgery, my main concern was not being able to have kids. But yeah, I'm definitely lucky and so blessed to not have to go through that. So that was such a relief to me. Anyway, back to during surgery. I didn't wake up during surgery subconsciously or anything, which was fine. I had a breathing tube put in me so they could obviously control my breathing, like down my throat, which also hurt post-surgery because I'd already had the sore throat. So I'd also had a catheter put in, which is a wee bag which gets put into my vagina, and you know, whatever, it's a wee bag. And I also had a tube put in where one of the cameras was inserted. I had another tube put in there, obviously once the camera was out. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just, you know, excess blood, or if there's any bits of blood that shouldn't be in there, it just gets like sucked out. I also had an IV put into my hand, The bruise is still kind of there. The bruise is actually, if you're squeamish, don't look, but I've still got a bruise right there from where I had the bloody other thing put in me. My concern with an IV as well, I did tell the nurse when she rang me a week before my surgery. I think they were beginners or something. One of the times I'd been to ED and I had my bloods done, they had to do it 4 times before they actually got something. It was so bad, but they'd had the needle in me for too long at one point, and I felt really nauseous, dizzy, and I had the shakes. And so I told the nurse that if I've got a needle in me for too long, that's how I feel. And so she said to me, what we can do is we can put a bandage over top of it, we can cover it completely so you don't see it. So that's exactly what they did. It's not an IV, but where the anesthetics were put, another tube was put in there afterwards, just in case anything happened post-surgery that they needed to put me back under or something, which I really didn't like at all, and they ended up taking out because it was just too painful for me. Also during surgery, the Mirena was inserted. I'm really thankful for that as well, because I've actually read a lot of stories about Mirena and being inserted and the pain that it causes to these poor women. So I was quite fortunate in that sense as well. So post-surgery, I woke up in recovery. I didn't actually wake up. Well, I was aware of what was going on around me, but I wasn't like fully awake. I was out of it. I was high on anesthetics. You know, you see those videos after people have had their like wisdom teeth removed and stuff. That's exactly how out of it I was. I woke up back in my room. I didn't wake up feeling nauseous or I wasn't in any pain. So I was still very drugged up. But yeah, I didn't have any pain, and that was just due to the anesthetics and the pain relief that I had been given. It sort of just felt really like heavy, like someone was pushing on my stomach, but that was about it. I was sort of dozing in and out for the whole day. I had visitors. A lot of love was coming my way. So my nurse did come in and out of my room throughout the day, every, I think, couple hours, just to check that, you know, my drip was okay, to check that I was okay, if I needed any more pain relief, to give me the pain relief that I needed every so often. She also spoke to my family just to see if they were okay and if they had questions and everything. She explained to them what they found. I honestly just can't get over how amazing they were. They were just incredible. So due to the anesthetics, I was really, really tired. I would wake up sometimes and stay awake for, I don't know, half an hour or so, but then I'd sort of just close my eyes and I'd just let myself drift off. I could still hear people talking and hear whatever was going on around me. They ended up having a pizza party in there. There was like my mum, they were both my parents, my sister, my partner, my cousin, her partner, and my niece, or her baby. And they all just had like pizza and all this food and stuff. They just had like a massive party in there, which was fine, you know. So because you're not allowed to eat before surgery, I was really hungry in the morning, but after my surgery, I actually found I had no appetite whatsoever. Then at about 8 p.m. or 8:30, my night nurse came in, and it is just a part of routine, but she came in and she told me that before I can settle and go to sleep, I need to get up and go to the bathroom. Not go toilet, but I need to get up and just go to the bathroom, brush my teeth or whatever. That was horrible. Because I hadn't eaten for 24 hours for a whole freaking day, I felt very nauseous. I felt so dizzy and I just felt like absolute shit. So the nurse had grabbed my catheter and mum grabbed my blood bag that was in my stomach, and they brought it over to one side of the bed. Both mum and the nurse helped me up, so I had to like grab them and sit up. Oh my gosh, it was just such a horrible experience. I felt really sick. I started getting the sweats and I just felt like absolute crap. So I just sat down. She's like, don't rush. She's like, take your time. Just as long as you get up, I'll be happy. So I just sat there. I asked for a cold flannel. I just kept it on my head. I was sitting there. I was shaking. I was just breathing, taking my time. And then once the nauseousness died down, I got up. Well, I got help. They helped me up. I actually limped to the bathroom. There was a seat in front of the sink. Sat down, felt nauseous again and dizzy, so I just sat there again with my cold flannel. Once I was okay, I got up and I brushed my teeth, went back and hopped into bed. Then my family came back in, and then I all of a sudden had an appetite. So I'd done all this exercise and I just felt hungry again. And I'll tell you what, it's not hospital food. It's not disgusting bloody mashed potatoes and yogurt. It's decent food. Like, the menu was incredible, but I just decided to get a plain ham and cheese toasted sandwich and some ice cream and apple juice. I couldn't exactly eat the toasted sandwich because the bread was just too dry for me to swallow, so I just ate the ice cream and had my apple juice. Then about 9 p.m, I think, 9:15, everyone said their goodbyes. So then I just watched a bit of TV, and then I went back. I fell asleep. Every couple of hours the nurses would come in and check on me, check that, you know, just what they were doing basically throughout the day, checking if I needed any pain relief, just checking my IV, etc, etc. My problem was though, every time I'd doze off, like to fully fall asleep, I would jolt and I'd wake up, and I have no idea why. The nurse says it's probably the anesthetics. She said it happened to her when she went through this. Yeah,